Welcome back. This is Aquarium Hacks by Marcus. So it's good to be back. I'm doing better from my surgery, by the way. But we got coming up on us is a winter storm coming our way. And it's a possibility with this large winter storm that we could lose electricity. So this video, I'm going to maybe hit on it a little bit, but this video is for mainly if you don't have a generator. Or maybe you have a generator, but you can only use it for a limited supply for your fish tank because you got to keep your house and your household warm. So I'm going to hit on a few little tips. But anyway, in an emergency situation like this, you have to be prepared ahead of time. Always remember that. So the first thing you want to do is have you some air pumps. This is a USB power air pump, which charges the battery up so it runs without power. And you can turn it on and it turns on and turn off to save battery power. And it will run for about, they say 24 to 30 hours, but I give it about 16 to 20 hours that it'll probably run. Maybe it will run for 24, 30 hours. I guess we'll find out if this winter storm lasts that long. And then also another option is to have battery powered air pumps. Maybe to have them both in combination, because if this runs out, if you have no way to charge it up, if you got enough batteries laying around, then you can keep this one charged up as well. And this one is very loud, but it runs a very, very, very long time, this battery powered air pump. And so definitely have your backup air pumps. Oxygen is very important to fish, so definitely have that. Now in the wintertime, if you got tropical fish, if you have goldfish, then you're going to be doing all right. But if you got tropical fish, you're going to need to provide them with some heat. Now, if you don't have a generator where you can run wires down, plugs down to your fish tank for your heaters, you're going to have to figure out how to heat that water up, or at least keep it somewhat heated up. Well, this only works if you have gas, if you have a gas hot water heater, because you get hot water coming out of your gas tank. You don't need electric to heat it up. So what you want to do is have you some empty bottles already ready. This is a large peanut butter jar. These are some soda bottles, some sport drink bottles. Fill those up with hot water, very, very hot water, and float them inside of your aquarium. So you fill it up and you float it inside of your aquarium. Okay, so what that's going to do is it's flown inside of your aquarium is that it's going to generate heat. Okay, generate heat from the bottle. And if you got several of them in there, it will keep your temperature probably around 72, maybe 74, the most maybe 75 degrees. Counts on how many bottles you're floating in there. And it will generate heat off for at least a couple hours, maybe even a little bit more. But it will definitely generate heat into your aquarium, keeping your fish tank somewhat warm, so those tropical fish don't get down into the low 60s, or if it gets too cold for too long, low 60s and upper 50s will kill a lot of tropical fish. And so remember, if you got hot water, a hot water heater, this works good. But if you don't have a hot water heater or hot water gas heater, shall I say, you can do this if you have a barbecue grill. You can do this on a barbecue grill. Heat up some water on a barbecue grill. Pour it in these bottles here, and you can float it from a barbecue grill. It's a lot more work that way, of course. Now, here's another tip that I want to share with you. So, like my tank here and my tank over there, I keep this tank at 79 degrees. I keep that tank at 75 degrees. Okay. So if your tank is at, let's say, 79 degrees, you can bump that heat up for the time being up to maybe 86, 84, 86 degrees. Most tropical fish can tolerate 86 degrees because that's what we do to treat diseases like it, right? For sometimes up to 2 weeks. So 84, 86 degrees is nothing for tropical fish to tolerate for the day. Now, why do I say bump that temperature up? Because if your electricity goes out in the middle of the night and when you wake up in the morning, you don't want your tank temperature to drop down very, 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 very low. See, if you got it, let's say at 79 degrees, it could lose, 6, 7, 8 degrees by the time you wake up if it gets very, very, very cold. And so instead of losing, instead of losing, let's say 5, 6 degrees at 79 degrees, you can usually lose, 5, 6 degrees at 86 degrees, right? And now it's going to bring it down to 80, 79, 78 degrees, which gives you time to get up in the morning and then take care of your emergency for your aquarium. So heat with the water bottles, right? And then air with the emergency air pumps. Those are your two main things that you need to do. Now, we have a filter problem, right? We have filters. So what do you do? Because you want to save your nitrifying bacteria too, right? Let's say your water, or let's say your electric is off. It's going to be off for several days. How do you preserve this? This is so important because it's nitrifying bacteria. We don't want to start over, right? Not in our filters. We definitely don't. Well, you can take this back. You can take this, your nitrifying bacteria out of your filter, and you can float that inside of your aquarium. Okay, just float inside your aquarium. They're going to do good because they're going to have a little heat inside there. They're going to have air, with your air stone and your backup air pump. And so they're going to be okay floating inside there for that duration. So take your biological media. I know it's going to be nasty. I know it's going to be messy, but take your biological media and just float it inside of your aquarium. Okay. Now, if you have a generator, you can, of course, run your generator to one filter, maybe, and then maybe to one heater to keep everything at least going. And that way you'll be fine. Now, it's possible you might lose some bacteria, but if you're really concerned about losing a lot of your major bacteria, what you can do is take your biological media out, put it in a bucket, put an emergency air stone in that bucket, in an air pump in that bucket, and just let it go. Okay. If you just let it go in that bucket, even though the temperature will drop in that bucket because it's not heated, that bacteria will be okay. Even if the temperature of that water gets down into the 50s, that bacteria will be okay. Even into the 40s, it will be okay because that's bacteria. Nitrifying bacteria is very, very hardy. It will just simply go dormant, simply slow down. But what it needs is oxygen. So continue to oxygenate your biological media in that bucket if you're that concerned about it. Remember too, there are bacteria that is living inside of your aquarium as well. But we know very well that a majority of it comes from our oxygenated filters. So that's something that you want to keep in mind. Also, don't worry about plants too much. If you got a planted aquarium, your plants will do fine without light for 3 days. They don't have to have light for at least three, maybe 4 days, maybe even 5 days without light. They will be just fine. So don't worry about that too much. Just worry about your oxygen and your heat and preserving your nitrifying bacteria. Now, if you wanted to provide light for your plants, a little bit of light, you can get some battery operated lights that you can, or some USB lights that charges up that you can shine on your plants for a couple of hours a day, 3 hours a day if you're that concerned about your plants. And so these are just some of the tips that I just wanted to give everyone when it comes to taking care of your tank during an emergency. A winter storm is coming our way, and so these are some tips that I just wanted to share with everyone. I hope these tips benefit you, and I hope you never have a winter storm coming your way this year. Until then, Aquarium Hacks out.